Verse for opening a sutra. The unsurpassed profound and wonderful Dharma is difficult to encounter in hundreds of millions of aeons. I now see and hear it, receive and uphold it, and I vow to fathom the Tathagata's true meaning. The Flower Adornment Sutra, Chapter 1. The Wondrous Adornments of the Rulers of the Worlds. Sutra. At that time, Celestial King Pure Wisdom's renown received the Buddha's awesome spiritual power, universally contemplated the multitudes of the heavens of lesser purity, the heavens of limitless purity, and the heavens of pervasive purity, and spoke the following verse. The one who understands that the nature of dharmas is unobstructed appears everywhere in countless lands of the 10 directions. He explains the inconceivable realm of the Buddhas, bringing all beings back to the ocean of liberation. The thus come one abides independently in the world, like a reflection of light, manifesting in many countries. Dharmas ultimately do not come into being. King Supreme Views enters this passage. For countless oceans of aeons, he has cultivated skillful means that have purified lands everywhere in the 10 directions. The Dharma realm abides in thusness, forever unmoving. The God's serene virtue awaken thus. Sentient beings occluded by delusion blindly remain in the throes of birth and death. The thus come one shows them the path to purity. Sumeru sound is emancipated thus. The unsurpassed path tread by all Buddhas cannot be fathomed by any sentient beings. They are shown various kinds of expedient doors. Pure eye understands this through careful observation. The thus come one constantly uses methods of uniting and upholding, profuse as dust motes in oceans of lands, to instruct and teach sentient beings everywhere. Celestial King Universal Illumination enters thus. A thus come one's advent in the world is not easy to meet with. It may happen only once in an ocean of uncountable aeons. Buddhists can inspire faith and understanding in beings. The God Sovereign attains this realization. The Buddha says that the nature of dharmas isn't a nature at all, and yet they are profound, vast, great, and inconceivable. Thus he inspires pure faith in sentient beings everywhere. Celestial King Blazing Light understands this well. Thus come ones of the 3 periods of time, perfect meritorious virtues. They transform the realms of sentient beings in incredible ways. Reflection upon this brings exultant joy, thus proclaims joy in Dharma. Sentient beings are drowning in an ocean of afflictions. Their delusion and turbid views are alarming indeed. Out of sympathy, the great teacher helps them leave all that forever. The King Transformation banner observes this state. The thus come one's light is forever bright. Countless Buddhas appear in each and every ray. One and all they manifest and work at transforming sentient beings. The God Wondrous sounds enters this passage. Moreover, Celestial King Winsome Light gain a passage into liberation, of forever enjoying the bliss of quiescence, and yet being able to descend into the world and eradicate being's suffering. Celestial King Pure and Exquisite Light gain a passage into liberation, of using an ocean of responses issuing from the heart of great compassion to bestow a treasury of happiness upon all sentient beings. Celestial King Comfortable Sound gain a passage into liberation, of universally manifesting within a single thought the power of blessings and virtue of all sentient beings throughout boundless aeons, celestial King Wisdom of supreme intent, gain a passage into liberation, of universally causing worlds undergoing the process of formation, dwelling, and decay, to all become pure like space. Celestial King pleasing, pure, and wonderful sounds, gain a passage into liberation of joyously and faithfully accepting all sages' dharmas. Celestial King sound of wholesome reflection, gain a passage into liberation of proclaiming for the duration of aeons the meaning of all grounds and skillful means. Celestial King proclaiming with splendid sound, gain a passage into liberation of expediently making extensive offerings to all bodhisattvas when they descend from the Tushita heaven palace to be born. Celestial King most profound voiced of light, gain a passage into liberation of contemplating the ocean of infinite spiritual powers and wisdom. Celestial King vast renown, gain a passage into liberation of observing how the fulfillment of oceanic merit and virtue allows Buddhas to appear in the world and employ the power of experience. Celestial King supreme pure light, gain a passage into liberation of giving rise to a treasury of profound faith and delight in the powerful past vows of the thus come ones. At that time, Celestial King winsome light, receive the Buddha's awesome spiritual power, universally contemplated the multitudes of heavens of lesser light, the heavens of limitless light, and the heavens of utmost light, and spoke the following verse. I recall the past practices of the thus come one, how he served and made offerings to innumerable Buddhas. Relying on the Buddha's awesome strength, I now perceive all the pure karma stemming from his fundamental faith. The Buddha's body, devoid of form, is free of any defilement. He dwells forever on the ground of compassion and pity, casting out all the woes of the world. This is the liberation of exquisite light. The Buddha Dharma is vast and boundless. The oceans of all lands appear within it. The stages of formation and decay of each are different. Such is the power of liberation, of the God comfortable sound. The Buddha, with his unequaled spiritual powers, appears everywhere in the vast lands of the 10 directions, causing those lands to manifest eternally, adorned and pure. Such is the expedient emancipation of supreme intent. He rendered homage to all thus come ones, numerous as dust motes in oceans of lands. He lost no opportunity to hear the Dharma and leave defilement. The Dharma door of the God wonderful sounds functions thus. The Buddha throughout measureless oceans of great aeons expounded the grounds with peerless skill and means. What he said remains infinite and unending. The God sound of wholesome reflection understands this meaning. The thus come one's spiritual transformations open infinite doors. In a single thought, he can appear in all places. His spirit descended, and he realized the way, enacting a great expedient. Splendid sound is liberated thus. Sustained by awesome strength, he can discuss and manifest incidents involving the Buddha's spiritual powers. Beings are purified according to their faculties and desires. This is the passage into liberation of the God voice light. The thus come one's wisdom is boundless. In the world he is peerless and without attachment. Responding with a kind heart, he appears before all beings. The God vast renown awakens to this truth. In the past, the Buddha practiced in quest of Bodhi, making offerings to all Buddhas in the 10 directions. Before each and every Buddha, he made vows. Upon hearing this, Supreme Light experiences great joy. Moreover, Brahma King Shikin gained a passage into liberation, of universally dwelling in the Bodhimandas of the 10 directions, speaking the Dharma there, and being pure and untainted in his actions. Brahma King Wisdom Light gained a passage into liberation, of enabling all sentient beings to enter dhyana and remain in samadhi. Brahma King Light of wholesome reflective wisdom gained a passage into liberation, of universally entering all inconceivable dharmas. Brahma King Universal Cloud Sound gained a passage into liberation, of entering all Buddhist oceans of sounds. Brahma King freely contemplating the sounds and speech in the world gained a passage into liberation, of recollecting how the Bodhisattvas teach and transform all sentient beings with expedience. Brahma King Still and Quiet Bright Eyes gain a passage into liberation, of manifesting the different aspects of worldly karmic retributions. Brahma King Pervasive Light gain a passage into liberation, of appearing before the different categories of sentient beings accordingly, so as to tame and subdue them. Brahma King Transforming Sounds gain a passage into liberation, of residing in the purity of all dharmas and the state of quiescent practice. Brahma King Dazzling Eyes gain a passage into liberation, of being unattached to anything, boundless, independent, and always manifesting with diligence. Brahma King Pleasing Ocean-like Sounds gain a passage into liberation, of constantly reflecting upon and contemplating inexhaustible dharmas. At that time, great Brahma King Shikin received the Buddha's awesome spiritual power, universally contemplated the multitudes of the Brahma heavens, the heavens of Brahma ministers, the heavens of Brahma multitudes, and the great Brahma heavens, and spoke the following verse. The Buddha's body is pure and ever quiescent. His radiance shines on everyone in all worlds, without form, without action, and without any image or reflection, like a cloud in the sky. Perceive him thus. The state of concentration of the Buddha's body, unfathomable by any sentient beings, is revealed to them through inconceivable expedient methods. King Wisdom Light enlightens thus. Oceans of Dharma doors, as many as motes of dust in Buddha lands, can be proclaimed completely in a single sentence, yet oceans of aeons would not be time enough to describe them all. Light of wholesome reflective wisdom is liberated thus. The Buddha's perfect voice reaches equally to all in the world. Each being attains insight according to its kind, and yet the sound causes no discriminations. Brahma King Universal Sound awakens thus. All thus come once in the 3 periods of time, progress towards Bodhi through expedient practices. Everything culminates with the realization of Buddhahood. The God freedom with sounds is liberated thus. Sentient beings all have their own distinct karma. According to their causes, various results occur. The Buddhists make clear that this is the nature of the world. The God still and quiet brightness awakens thus. At ease with countless Dharma doors, he tames sentient beings throughout the 10 directions. without discriminating among them. Such is the state of pervasive light. The Buddha's body is as infinite as the void, formless and unobstructed. It pervades the 10 directions. All his manifestations resemble illusions. King transforming sounds enlightens to this path. The thus come one's physical form is boundless. So too are his wisdom and the sound of his voice. Abiding in the world and displaying his form, he has no attachments. Celestial King Dazzling Light enters this passage. The Dharma King settles in the wondrous Dharma Palace. The light of his Dharma body shines on all. The Dharma nature is incomparable and devoid of form. This is the liberation of King Ocean-like sounds. Moreover, Celestial King self-mastery gain a passage into liberation, of making use of a treasure trove of freedom and ease, in appearing before countless sentient beings and bringing them to maturation. Celestial King Lord Good Eyes gain a passage into liberation, of contemplating the joys of all sentient beings, and then helping them to experience the joy found in the realm of sages. Celestial King crowned like a banner of wonderful jewels, gain a passage into liberation, of rousing sentient beings to action, by complying with their various desires and understandings. Celestial King Courageous Wisdom gain a passage into liberation, of universally gathering in all sentient beings and explaining principles to them. Celestial King Phrases of Sublime Sounds gain a passage into liberation, of advancing in his own practice by recollecting the thus come one's vast kindness. Celestial King Banner of Splendid Light gain a passage into liberation, of revealing the gate of great compassion that can subjugate the arrogance of some beings who wear it like a banner. Celestial King Realm of Quiescence gain a passage into liberation, of subduing all hatred and malice among beings in the world. Celestial King Banner embellished with wonderful wheels gain a passage into liberation, of being able by remembering countless Buddhas of the 10 directions to have them come to where he is. Celestial King Flower Light Wisdom gain a passage into liberation, of universally manifesting the realization of proper enlightenment according to the thoughts of sentient beings. Celestial King Indra's wonderful brightness gain a passage into liberation, of entering all worlds by means of great awesome strength and masterful methods. At that time, Celestial King Self-Mastery received the Buddha's awesome spiritual power, universally contemplated the multitudes of the heavens of self-mastery, and spoke the following verse. The Buddha's body is pervasive and equal to the Dharma realm. Universally responding to beings, he appears before them all, offering various ways to enter the teachings as he transforms and guides them, so that they will attain ease in the Dharma and reach enlightenment. Among the different joys in the world, the quiescent bliss of the sages is the most supreme, abiding in the profuse vastness of the Dharma nature. Celestial King Wondrous Eyes perceives thus. The thus come one appears throughout the 10 directions. He speaks Dharma by universally responding to the hearts of the masses. All doubts are vanquished and severed. This is the passage into liberation, of wonderful banner-like crown. Buddhas throughout all worlds communicate with wondrous sounds. The Dharma spoken throughout countless aeons can be wholly expressed in a single sentence. Courageous Wisdom God is liberated thus. The immense kindness of all those in the world does not measure up to the tiniest fraction of the thus come one's kindness. Like space, the Buddha's kindness is inexhaustible. This is the achievement of the God's sublime sounds. The arrogance of sentient beings, towering as a mountain, is completely vanquished without residue by the 10 powers. This function of the thus come one's great compassion is the way practiced by the King Banner of splendid light. Pure light wisdom fills beings in all worlds. Those who see it cast out ignorance and darkness, which enables them to leave all evil paths. Celestial King Quiescent awakens to this Dharma. The light streaming from the Buddha's paws proclaims names of Buddhas as many as the number of beings. Sentient beings may hear whatever they enjoy hearing. Banner with wonderful wheels is liberated thus. The thus come one's freedom and ease cannot be measured. It entirely fills space and the Dharma realm. The myriad assemblies behold it clearly. Flower wisdom enters this passage to liberation. Throughout oceans of countless boundless great eons, Buddhas manifest everywhere in the 10 directions to speak the Dharma. Yet no one ever sees them come or go. The God wonderful brightness enlightens to this. Moreover, celestial kings skilled at transformations gain a passage into liberation, of explaining the transformational power of all karma. Celestial kings' silent radiance gain a passage into liberation, of renouncing all opportunistic tendencies. Celestial King illumination of powerful transformations gain a passage into liberation, of universally eradicating the dark and deluded thoughts of sentient beings, thus enabling them to perfect their wisdom. Celestial King Lord of Adornment gain a passage into liberation, of bringing forth boundless delightful sounds. Celestial King Light of Mindfulness gain a passage into liberation, of understanding all Buddha's infinite attributes of blessings and virtue. Celestial King Tremendous Thundercloud gain a passage into liberation, of universally knowing the formation and decay of all past aeons, as well as their sequence. Celestial King Supreme Light gain a passage into liberation, of awakening the wisdom of all sentient beings. Celestial King Wonderful Call gain a passage into liberation, of releasing light that quickly fills the 10 directions of space. Celestial King Joyful Wisdom gain a passage into liberation, of maintaining a powerful vigor that makes it impossible to destroy his accomplishments. Celestial King Flower Light Call gain a passage into liberation, of knowing the retributions undergone by all sentient beings due to their karma. Celestial King universally viewing the 10 directions gain a passage into liberation, of manifesting the different shapes of inconceivably many kinds of sentient beings.